All right. Okay, let's start again. Okay, welcome everybody. We're really excited to be here at this Virtual Staffing World 2020. My name is Jerry Grady. I am a partner with UHY LLP, and I'm here with Leslie Kahn from ALTO Staffing out of Dayton, Ohio. What we're going to do today is give you a brief overview of a game-changing event for Leslie and her organization. We want to talk about how we help them maximize their profitability and their cash flow. That helped expand their value and also add some value to the long-term ability of their organization. Leslie, welcome.
Thank you, Jerry.
Just want to give the audience a quick overview of what we have all worked together as a team. As I said, Leslie is the CEO at ALTO Staffing. Her and I and our team and her team have been meeting on a quarterly basis. And what we've been really focusing on the last almost 24 to 36 months was really increasing and expanding her cash flow, getting her value up, expanding their business. And then we've also put some KPIs and looked at how do we get their EBITDA numbers up. Just want to give a real quick overview of UHY and ALTO for the audience so they know who we are, Leslie. UHY is a national CPA firm located in 21 offices across the Americas. We have a national staffing industry practice. That national staffing industry practice is based out of Michigan, but is served in 5 of our 20 some odd locations, about 27 people in the group, handling about 125 staffing clients around the country. We also are extremely active in many of the national associations as well as state societies. We do have something that I think is important everyone knows that's on here. We do send out a staffing insider report, and we do a lot of staffing e-alerts. So if you haven't seen any of those, please give us a call, drop us an email, and we'll get you on our list. ALTO Healthcare Staffing, they're a professional staffing, placement, and human resources firm. They have been around. Leslie, how long have you been around for?
Since 2003.
And then I believe when you and I first met, you were doing a lot of the home health care. Is that correct?
Well, temporary staffing in nursing homes, per diem.
Okay, and then where have you gone since then? Because I know we've done some professional employment organization work, and it wasn't a big part of your business, but you've also been adding some other industry-specific staffing. And what would those be?
Well, we added a travel division in 2018, and that's growing. And we branched out with our per diem and secured a lot of corporate contracts with different client facilities across the country. So that's really helped expand our market.
Excellent. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit. Can you give me an overview of where you guys were and what you were doing with your business, how it was operating before we met, to give the audience an idea of that?
Okay, well, I had been in business about 10 years, and I kind of was at a plateau. I found myself working a lot in the business instead of on the business, and I didn't really have a good grasp on my P&L and just a budget, and just really how to have a good grasp on the financial aspect of it because I was working so much in it. So I sought out a consultant in the staffing industry, and we started working a lot on an operational analysis and a strategic analysis. And from that strategic analysis, I was introduced to your firm through him because we needed more cash flow and capital to grow the business and hire the right person in operations so they could really take over that, and that freed me up and my time to look and work on my business from more of a strategic perspective versus an operational perspective.
And if I recall, that was Tom Erb, correct? You were working with
Yes.
Tom Erb, who talked to
Yep.
us.
Tom
Um,
Murr from Talent Resources. And
yep.
I've been working with him now for 9 years.
That's awesome. So as we came on, one of the things that we discovered is that while you had a financial statement, you didn't have a financial statement that was providing a lot of in-depth analysis. There wasn't any tracking of what I would call the in-depth gross profit analysis. Weren't looking at how your receivables and your WIP, which I like to call, which is really unbilled time, how that was being tracked. Um, so you and I came up with a plan that we were going to meet on a quarterly basis. We were going to get your monthly financials in a more accurate, up-to-date statement. What I like to call more, when I say more accurate, it means a more timely driven financial statement that was drove around the end of the period, making sure our accruals were correct, making sure your billings were correct. Um, what were those meetings like for you? Because I know they were intense. I mean, we would spend 8 hours a day together. What did that help you do?
Oh, I thought they were very informative. It lended a lot of insight on how to manage my costs and measure the ROI from each cost, and even from the most important thing and the most expensive cost that I think any staffing agency owner sees when they look at their books is the cost of internal employees. And so that was extremely helpful in looking at the percentage of gross profit margin is spent on internal employees, and also the actual real cost of an internal employee and what they would need to produce as far as KPIs, and revenue in order to cover themselves, and um, just to see if they're profitable or not. So I think that was probably the biggest takeaway that I got from that, and just following a budget and really looking at all the tools on a quarterly basis with you, and getting our thumb on the pulse of the spending, and tightening up the receivables more, and having a more solid process for that, and even measuring and rating the clients, which were, as well as rating the internal employees, was, which clients are good partners, and where is the are the margins in that? Is there a good ROI with servicing individual clients?
That's a great comment, because that is one of the things that we do see is that a lot of the staffing firms we first start working with when we start looking at profitability is that they've never taken a look at their customers, and they don't realize that they could be really losing money on a customer. And if I recall, we did a lot of ABCD work, looking and analyzing and putting our clients on the ABCD list. And then, as hard as it was for you, we ended up getting rid of some D clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing how that started to increase your cash flow. And then
Mm-hmm.
those resources were used to hire additional people. One of those people was your director of operations that you knew you had to have and need to bring it on. So again, you could focus in the business or sorry, on the business and not in the business. What was that experience like, bringing on somebody and giving up some of that control? And what were some of the things you did to get her on board?
Well, she was the fourth person that I tried in a 2-year period. And it's just all about having the right person that, as an owner, and because I started the company from the ground up and I did everything from A to Z, and as the company grew, I had to let go of certain things, and letting go of the operations was probably the most challenging for me, because I felt like it was my baby, and I had to
Right.
find the right babysitter that I could really trust, and that would nurture and take care of the business, and share my vision and my mission. So 3 of them didn't really work out very well. They weren't with me more than 6 months. And then I was connected to Cindy. I knew of her. She had a great reputation. We're both from the same regional area and had a lot of the same clients and competed for a lot of the same internal and external field or employees as well. So when I felt it took about several months for me to recruit her. It was the hardest recruit I've ever done, but it was the most rewarding. And I knew that I was going to be making an investment in her. So that's when Tom and I reached out to you, Jerry, to develop some type of agreement with her so that she would feel that she is as much invested in the company. And I really wanted her to feel that she had some ownership in the company as well as I did, because she did own her own company previously. So I knew she had that mindset, but I wanted her to feel that same way with Alto. So that's when you and
Great.
I worked together and came up with a plan for her. If you wanted to expand on that.
Yeah, I'll expand a little bit. I mean, I think it was awesome the way you were willing to put a plan of action together for her. I like to call those plans a non-qualified. Sometimes they're non-qualified deferred comp, sometimes they're just non-qualified share of the business. But I believe that by making her part of the team, we were able to put together that she was going to get value from the growth of the company. And then as your vision expanded, she would have a bonus pool in place for her. But I think the largest thing for someone like Cindy was that having a piece of the apple, the pie at the end of the rainbow, shall we say, when that business gets sold, we really have a nice plan of action in place for her so that she does get rewarded for what happens. And I think that that brings me to the last question I do want to talk about, because we're running short on time. 15 minutes doesn't give me, as everyone knows me, doesn't give me enough time to talk. Um, but what our growth potential? You have really grown in the last couple of years, and you've really been on a great trajectory. The way that you've put and used all this profitability that and this cash flow analysis we've put together, you've gone out and set up a travel division now, and also expanded the home healthcare network and the nursing home network as well, and you've added recruiters. What's your growth? Where did that growth come from? How did we end up getting that financed for you and getting you the ability to grow that quickly?
I worked with your firm, and I was introduced to Access Capital, which I thought it was. I did have a small equity line, a business line of credit with my bank, but banks are a little bit more challenging to work with when you're in the staffing industry because we don't have a warehouse with widgets.
Right.
So Access Capital partners with staffing companies and they understand the service industry. And so that was really beneficial because that gave me the capital that I needed to go out and hire the right type of team members that had experience and compensate them fairly and be able to invest in tools and resources that could help expand the business. I invested in some technology, which that helped the clinical temp side of the company uh, just expand our market and our
Okay.
footprint in other markets and other territories because we enabled technology to connect with more candidates and more clients. So just having the funding to invest back in your team and in your company was crucial. And what is so rewarding from that is I see a measurable ROI. So I'm really pleased with how that worked out.
That's excellent. So if I could summarize, Leslie, because I love your story. I love the fact that you took the gamble, you took the chance, you reached out to a professional. Us CPAs, a lot of times people think we're just bean counters. But I think it's important that people understand that, you know, a good business advising firm should be able to sit down with their clients, especially one that understands the industry and is really in tuned in the industry, works with a lot of the partners in the industry. They can really help drive your profitability and get your cash flow moving. The greatest reward for us as your firm and helping you has been watching your growth. You know, you being up over 20%, you hitting that milestone. The biggest accomplishment last year in January is when you took all your team to Florida because you set a goal and a vision for them. And for us to be part of that, we thank you for allowing us that opportunity. It really means a lot to us that you valued us, you trusted us, and we really hope and pray and continue to have you grow, because I think that rainbow is coming for you, with what we see. So very appreciative of this conversation. I hope
Can
the
I add one
audience.
more thing? Can
Yes,
I add one more thing?
absolutely.
Okay, I do want to say that probably one of the most helpful times that I've had is when I've had you and Tom there together in my conference room at my conference table, looking at the KPIs and the salaries and the budget and then and how that went from the numbers to the actual management and operations, which then even delved in deeper to the personalities and hiring the right people for your team. And I mean, the fact that you as an accountant had that insight, the other accountant that I had for 10 years never was, I felt a true valuable partner like you are in
Oh, thank
Allison.
you. Thank you. We greatly appreciate that. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you today, and we look forward to continue working with you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jerry. Thank you.